Hello, what is up you guys? Benji here from Teach Frogs, and today we're going to be talking about how to become a freelance teacher. Now in this video I am going to be focusing on how to become a freelance teacher online, and I'm going to be mainly going through how you can actually find students in the first place. And that is without a doubt the hardest part of becoming an independent teacher. Now I know in my videos I normally talk about ESL teachers or English teachers, but this video is actually going to be quite broad, and like it will apply to you whether you're a science teacher or a maths teacher, whatever kind of teacher you want to be. This is a video for you. And yeah, I'm going to be going through a few companies and basically a few ways in which you can actually find students. But as always, before I continue guys, if you like this video, please give it a huge thumbs up. And if you love it, please subscribe down below for more videos. Let's get started. So the first tip that I'm going to give you, and it's probably, I guess, probably the most obvious one, but I do want to tell you it anyway, just in case maybe you haven't thought about it, is approaching schools, basically. And what I mean by this is, if you make like a little poster of yourself with your beaming face on the cover, and just advertising your work, what you do, and then approach a lot of schools and say, hey, can I put this poster up in your school? Or can I have this little thing emailed out to some parents or something like that? Or if you're like a language teacher, go to language schools, international schools, things like that, where your target audience will be. And yeah, post maybe a leaflet or a little poster, and yeah, always make sure though as well. And this is actually what I wanted to discuss as well. If you want to become a freelance teacher, you need to have a website. Because if you're giving out posters, if you're giving out leaflets that just say, contact me at blah 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 at gmail.com. No, that won't do. You need to say, if you're interested, please contact me at blah 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 at, a personalized email address basically, or you can contact me through my website. So have a website, and it will make you look so much more professional, because you will probably get like 3 times the amount of students if you do have a professional website than if you don't, because you just seem more trustworthy basically. But yeah, that is my first tip. You probably already knew that though, so I'm going to move on to the next one. So there is a wonderful site called Upwork. Now Upwork is a site that people actually advertise their own needs. So basically, it is a freelancer website, but what you'll find is people will be saying, hey, I'm looking for a teacher for my elderly mother, blah, blah, blah. And then you can actually contact that person and say, hey, I'm a freelance teacher, I can teach them this, blah, 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 here are my fees, etc., etc. So you're actually contacting them directly. Now, there is a downside to using Upwork. Upwork do actually take, I wouldn't say lofty, but kind of lofty fees. So if your fee is between $0 and $500, they take a 20% cut. That can add up to quite a lot. And if it's over 500, it actually goes down. So 500 to 10,000, they charge 10% per job basically. But one thing to keep in mind, and this is one thing that you should keep in mind for the rest of the things that I'm going to be talking about, is that these are ways that you can get students originally. So these, you just need to find your if you're just starting out, you just need to find a base kind of like group of students, because what will then happen is once you've got enough base students, they will tell their friends, word of mouth kind of does its thing, and you'll kind of get more students from that. But it's just basically about establishing yourself and actually finding those people in the first place. So do keep that in mind. The next thing I want to talk to you about is a site called Fiverr. Now, you probably might have heard of this site already. Basically, it's another freelance website where you can advertise your abilities, you can advertise yourself as a teacher on this site, and what they'll do is, you'll get people approaching you rather than you approaching them. And yeah, another thing to keep in mind with Fiverr though is that they do have, of course, their fees. They're not quite as high as the Upwork fees. So if it's if it's $40 or lower, they take a cut of $2 for that transaction. which isn't actually that bad. And then $40 onwards, they charge 5% of whatever you make, which is actually really good. The downside though to Fiverr is you don't find many people looking for teachers on that website. It's more like kind of if you're like a graphic designer or things like that. But I have been on the site and had a look. There are plenty of teachers on there, and they are getting students. You can see how many transactions they've had, so it does work. It is a way to actually find people. So my next one that I'm going to talk about is actually one that I wasn't going to include in this video because I personally, I was a bit dubious about it, but my friend, she said that she used this method, and she said that she has the bulk of her students from using it. So I thought, okay, I'll add it in anyway, but please take it with a pinch of salt. And this method is using Craigslist. Now, the beauty of Craigslist is if you're, for example, a language teacher, you can actually advertise in like a different country. So for example, you can put an ad out on Indian Craigslist, for example. Say like if you're an English teacher, you'd be like, hey, I'm an English teacher, like I'll teach you English, and then you can actually add that to Indian Craigslist, so Indian people will see that, and that's kind of your targeting your audience from there. I've not tried it myself, so I can't say how well it works, but it is just something, I mean, you might as well try everything, you know, like you might as well have that as like a backup. The next thing I want to talk to you about is Facebook groups. Now, there are 1,000,001 Facebook groups out there that will have loads of people commenting, being like, hey, like, I am looking for a teacher to teach my son, blah, 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 blah. One thing to be careful of though, when you are using Facebook groups to find students, it's actually more advisable that you don't actually make a post on that group and then post it, being like, hey, I'm a teacher, please hire me. Because the admins generally don't like that. The way that you should do it is that you should scroll through the posts and see people commenting like, hey, like, I'm looking for a teacher, blah, 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 and then you directly message that person. Or even if it just seems like someone might be looking for a teacher, just send them a really super friendly message, be like, hey, like, blah, 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 do you need a teacher? Because the value of just getting one student is a lot, especially if you have them for even years. It's a lot of money. So actually going through that labor of just messaging random people, it might seem like, ugh, but the value of just getting one student will be so worth all of that effort. So do keep that in mind. So guys, those are my tips for becoming a freelance teacher online. I hope this kind of helps you some way. And as I said before, don't worry if like you're thinking, oh my god, I'm always going to have to go on these websites, I'm always going to have to try these methods to find students, because like I said, all you need to use these methods for is to find your base. For example, if you find 20-30 students, it might take a couple of months, but you can do it. If you find 20-30 students, that will just grow exponentially, hopefully, by word of mouth. It will kind of create itself almost. So you won't have to be doing this forever, but it's just a good way to start out. Anyway, I've rambled on long enough. I do hope this has helped you. If you have any questions, please write in the comments below. I will reply to it and help you as best I can. Or you can reply to me on my email, which I've linked in the description below. Whew. Anyway, thank you so much for watching, guys. Ciao for now. Mwah!